Hi everyone, and welcome to another segment of AstrologyAnswers.com's weekly forecast. My name is Terrence Gardino. The week begins on Monday, March the 18th. And this is a big active week when a lot of things are coming to a head because we're having a full moon on Wednesday. It's also the spring equinox or the autumn equinox if you're south of the equator. So a lot of things are culminating and coming to a head. But with Mercury in retrograde, it could also mean that relationships or commitments, jobs that have been weak, have been a bit fragile, tenuable, then this could be the endings. But it's about clearing out what's not working to get more on track and more focus towards what is working. So a lot of this is coming to a head on Wednesday. But let's start on Monday. The moon sets the emotional tone for a couple of days. Sunday, Monday, particularly on Monday, the moon's in Leo, activating ambitious Mars, optimistic Jupiter. So you're starting the week with a lot of energy and motivation to get a lot of things done. But with Mercury in retrograde, best to be completing projects or taking existing current projects to the next level, but not starting anything new because it won't turn out as expected. Mercury's the planet of expectations. By Tuesday, now the moon has shifted into more practical, sensible Virgo. As we get into Wednesday, now the moon is going, it's going to shift into Libra later in the day, and then that will be the full moon in Libra. Libra is about relationships and partnerships. And with the full moon, any partnership, contract, agreement, relationship that has been weak, that has been causing some trouble, this could be a breakup or the beginning of the end. On a more positive note, it could also bring to light what needs to be fixed in a relationship. And then with the Mercury in retrograde, you can rethink it, retool it, and move forwards. Or any kind of agreements, relationships that's been troublesome. This could be the ending or the beginning of the end. Also on Wednesday, assertive Mars is excellent with powerful Pluto. So you're going to have the courage to start working on relationships or confront relationships, whether business, personal, to let it go, whatever's not working for you. And it's also a really important day, not just because of the full moon, but it's the spring equinox if you're living north of the equator. So we're coming out of the winter, which is about the letting go. And it's that period of the winter of death, of life, animals being in hibernation. And then we begin the new spring cycle when the sun moves into Aries on Wednesday. And there's this burst of energy and freshness and newness. And it's all coming to light with the full moon, with the courage of Mars, Pluto. But Mercury's in retrograde. So for the most part, it's about bringing to light where you need to make adjustments so you can hit the ground running with all new projects after Mercury goes direct on the 28th. On Thursday, creative, relational Venus also has all these desires, is going to be in a hard angle to Mars. Now that could also be on the positive, always trying to look to the positive first, a lot of passion creatively, romantically. But because of the full moon and the Mercury and retrograde and that full moon in relationship Libra, that Venus-Mars could be for some of you when there's fighting, which is all part of the goodbye. Strong relationships will survive. This could be a time of really shaking things up and get it better on track. And even if there is some real tensions and disagreements, later in the day on Thursday, then the Venus will be in harmony with optimistic, expansive Jupiter. So there could also be, now relationships that are meant to end, they probably will be, but for most of you, this can mean a lot of where there's been some resentments or problems or things not talked about because of Mercury and retrograde, and all that comes to the surface at Wednesday into Thursday. Then the Venus-Jupiter could be when you are healing, when there's the forgiveness, when you are maybe even celebrating these breakthroughs in relationships. As we go into Friday, Friday is more of this transitional day, coming out of all of that high energy. And then Saturday and Sunday, the moon that sets the tone is in passionate, intense Scorpio. And by Sunday, communication Mercury, retrograde Mercury, will be aligning with Neptune in the positive. This is a great day for inspiring the imagination, for empathy, for your intuition, for charity. But when it comes to communications, it's a day that could be very fraught with misunderstandings. So don't assume anything. When you're having a discussion, if you're feeling a bit uncertain, repeat yourself or ask the person to repeat what you think they heard you say, just to make sure there's no misunderstandings. But overall, this is one active major week. And as I said, with the full moon, with a lot of matters come to light, especially with relationships. Now, before I sign off, I want to remind you I'm available for the one question offer, and you can find a direct link in the description box below the video. And if you don't notice it, you'll see more, the word more. Just click on that and it'll open it up, and then you'll find the link. The time of birth is always important if you have it, and if you would put the birth information and the time of birth in with your question again, it'll just make sure I have all the information accurate. I want to thank you for tuning in, and I hope to see you next week with my next segment.